Hey guys, this is Ronnie here from Southern Food Junkie, and today we're going to talk about the 13 top Southern cookbooks that you need. Let's get to it. American has fallen in love with the food of the South, and it's for good reason. It is so comforting and it's very delicious. So many people want to know where these top recipes come from or how to make a certain dish. And today I'm going to share with you the 13 top Southern cookbooks that you need. Coming in at number 1 is Magnolia Table by Joanna Gaines. If you have not heard of Joanna and Chip Gaines, you must be living under a rock. They became very popular because of Joanna's eye for detail and designing, which led them to a super popular TV show called Fixer Upper. Joanna Gaines is deeply rooted in her faith and her family, which is why she loves to cook so much. According to her bio from her website, she believes in home. This cookbook is filled with Southern comfort dishes that are sure to delight your family and give you that truly home-cooked meal that they deserve. A few of my favorite recipes from this book are chicken pot pie, chocolate chip cookies, and her fried chicken. Y'all check it out. So coming in at number 2 is Southern Cast Iron Cookbook, comforting recipes to enjoy and share. You know, there's nothing more that I cherish in my kitchen more than my cast iron cookware. I have tons of it. I just love it that much. If properly taken care of, cast iron cookware, it can last you a lifetime or two. It can be handed down from generation to generation, and this is the reason why I love this cookbook so much. Most Southern cooks know about cast iron cooking, or at least the benefits of using it. It's always nice to have fresh and new recipe ideas to make, though. Adding this book to your library of Southern cookbooks is a must. This book not only shares cast iron cooking recipes, but also a lot of useful information about cast ironware and tips to season it as well. A few of my favorite recipes from this book are fried grits with country ham and red-eye gravy, the monkey bread, spicy boiled peanuts, which I love, and blueberry mountain pie. Number 3 is The Pioneer Woman Cooks. Super easy, 120 shortcut recipes for dinners, desserts, and more. I just love watching the Pioneer Woman cook. Her spirit is so easygoing, and she seems to have so much joy. While her husband's out working and her kids are out working on the ranch, Ree Drummond keeps all of them fed and with all of her delicious ranch-style Southern recipes. If your life is anything like mine and Ree Drummond's, as she explains in this book, life is very hectic. Life is super busy, and we're always on the go. The cookbook gives you super easy to fix and quick to recipes that will surely be a go-to fix for your family. A few of my favorite recipes from this book is the bread omelet, the stepped-up sausage balls, white chicken chili, and her cinnamon apples. Now, coming in at number 4 is a book that every home needs to have. This is the Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving. No cookbook library would be complete without this book. It's one of the most important you should have. Learning how to can or preserve is especially important, and it's very popular in today's time. People more than ever are going back to the basics and learning the skills that have skipped a generation or two in modern times. So if you enjoy planting a garden, buying this book to learn about preserving the extras that you grow in your garden will be a game changer for you. Once you get the basics down pat, it becomes very simple. You'll want to grow even more so you can even more stuff, especially with the rising cost of food. Now, a few of my favorite recipes from this book are strawberry jam, the roasted tomato chipotle salsa, and the cranberry ketchup. Number 5 is the Complete America's Test Kitchen TV Show Cookbook. Now, ever since I come across this show, I have loved it. I love how they not only show you how to make a dish, but they actually go into the why. The why is always important to me. I hate when you ask someone a question and you ask them, why is it done this way? And their answer is because this is the way we've always done it, or because that's how I was taught. So if you're like me and you want to know the why, then you need to start watching this show and also pick up this book. And they have many other books as well too. But this cookbook is not necessarily Southern, but it is a great one that has many Southern recipes in it. The book also has a lot of useful information that's geared towards cooking. And a few of my favorite recipes from this book is the pressure cooker chicken noodle soup, the New England clam chowder, the spiral sliced ham with cider vinegar caramel. Now number 6 is another one that's dear to my heart. This is GULLAH GEECHEE Home Cooking, recipes from the matriarch of Edisto Island. So if you didn't know, I'm from South Carolina. Many of the dishes that South Carolina's Low Country is known for were created by the GULLAH and the GEECHEE community. Low Country of South Carolina and all along the coastal plains of South Carolina and Georgia were inspired by this wonderful group of humans that were once part of a tragedy that was the slave trade. And what was once a sad and devastating part of our culture gave birth to soul food and Southern food in general. Many of the dishes that are enjoyed around the United States were created by the hands of that generation. The people that were brought to this part of the country from Africa against their will had extensive knowledge of rice cultivation, and so that was the purpose for them being forced to come to this region to raise rice. The conditions for growing rice here were perfect in this part of the country, so rice became a cash crop in coastal South Carolina and Georgia, and many of the dishes that the GULLAH and GEECHEE community fed their families had rice in them. So the same dishes that are now part of what makes soul food and Southern food what it is today come out of this tragedy. Many of the foods that we as Americans enjoy, such as rice, yams, okra, black-eyed peas, peppers, and watermelon, from these plants the Africans brought with them came the recipes that they made from them. The author, who was raised in Edisto Island, South Carolina, was from the lineage of the GULLAH GEECHEE community. Edisto is one of my favorite places to visit. Once there, you kind of feel like you've traveled back in time. And this cookbook shares some of the recipes that came from this region of the world. The recipes that she shares will take you back as well. A few of the recipes from this book that I love are crab cakes, pimento cheese, and Hoppin' John. Also, if you want to check out this video from Edisto Island from our vacation in 2019, I'll put a link up above for y'all. Coming in at number 7 is another South Carolinian. It's Rodney Scott's World of Barbecue. Now, like I said, he is another South Carolina native who is making awesome food and making big moves. Rodney followed in the family business of making great barbecue. Growing up in the family business, Rodney worked at Scott's Barbecue in Hemingway, South Carolina, and this is kind of where he learned the ropes of the business, which led him to open his very own barbecue restaurant in Charleston, South Carolina, with his namesake, Rodney Scott's Barbecue. Now, some of you may not agree or believe this, but through some of the research that I've done, and I've learned that South Carolina is believed to be the first area where the technique of barbecuing pork was first used. That's why a lot of people will say that South Carolina is first in queue, first to barbecue. Now, for my northerner subscribers, in the South, when we talk about barbecue, it is always pork that is smoked. So to us, a barbecue is a dish that is cooked a certain way, and it's not an act of cooking or a method. Rodney is an acclaimed self-taught chef and also a James Beard Award winner, along with many other local and regional awards. His style of cooking is whole hog, and his book shares some of his favorite recipes that he serves in his restaurant, as well as some of his favorite memories. A few of my favorite recipes from his book are Rodney's white barbecue sauce, his potato salad, and his purlo, also called chicken bog or purloo. We call it chicken bog in our area. Number 8 is bread baking for beginners. So just as any Southern meal is not complete without bread, a cookbook library is not complete without a bread cookbook. Now, this cookbook shares a lot of knowledge about bread and how to make it, from normal white bread to your artesian bread. It's all here. A few of my favorite recipes from this book: pizza with tomato and mozzarella, country loaves, one of my favorites, cinnamon raisin swirl bread. So number 9 is Faith, Family, and Feast. Recipes to fill your crew from the grill, the garden, and the iron skillet. Now, the first time I saw Cowboy Kent Rollins was on the Food Network. He was on Chopped Grill Masters, and I loved his humble spirit and the way he was cooking his food. Fast forward a few years, I saw him on YouTube, and he was killing it on there as well. Kent Rollins always is throwing down some awesome-looking Southern food or cowboy cooking. He has a really natural way of explaining like his dishes, too. He always has great recipes and does such a good job at explaining them. Again, this is another cookbook author that is using one of the greatest cookwares that was ever invented, the cast iron skillet. So one thing you will see in Kent's cookbook or on his videos, he can cook on the stovetop, the oven, or directly in the fire. And he all uses the same cookware to do this. This just shows you how versatile and tough cast iron is. You're going to love this book and Kent's cooking style. A few of my favorite recipes from this book is his breakfast burritos with salsa verde, Fiesta Ranch pizza, and ham and egg cast iron quiche. Man, that sounds good. Coming at number 10 is I Heart Soul Food. Soul food and Southern food are intertwined. They cross over and are influenced by both. I Heart Soul Food is an awesome Southern cookbook that was written by YouTube and popular blogger Rosie Mays. Here she shares some of her favorite recipes growing up, as well as some of her popular ones on her blog and her YouTube channel. A few of my favorite from this book is the banana nut pancakes, caramel pecan cinnamon rolls, and her take on shrimp and grits, shrimp and andouille sausage and grits. Number 11 is Taste of Country Cooking. Now, Edna Lewis shares her life through this cookbook, The Taste of Country Cooking. Through each recipe, she weaves in stories of what it was like growing up in the rural Virginia countryside. Along the way, her passion for cooking carried through, as well as other chores she had to do. The recipes are older recipes that are sure to get you stirred up with joy. Her recipes are inspired by the seasons and what was right or you were able to get at that time. The book is a great read just for the historical factor alone. Learning what and how people ate back in the early 1900s is very fascinating to me, and I'm sure you'll find it fascinating too. A few of my favorite recipes from this book is Virginia ham, yeast rolls from sponge batter, and special butter cookies. Now, coming in at 12 is a book called Deep Run Roots. And if you've not heard of this book, you need to go get it. It's written by Vivian Howard, who is a chef from North Carolina. I love her story, and I love watching her show that she has called A Chef's Life that comes on PBS. Although the show is off air now, you can still catch reruns on it from time to time. She runs a restaurant where she serves a farm-to-table type dishes, and on the show, each episode is like a day in the life of her, and each episode focuses on one simple ingredient. In the show, we get to tag along to see the decisions she has to make for running her restaurant, as well as where she goes to get her local ingredients from, like the farmers and such. It's a great look inside the life of a chef. Also, while on the show, she took us through the process of writing this book and shared some of the struggles along the way that she had. The book has many great recipes that she serves in her restaurant, and the restaurant's called The Chef and the Farmer, by the way. Each chapter of the book focuses on one ingredient, much like each episode does in a chef's life. This is a great book that is worth picking up and having in your cookbook library. A few of my favorite recipes are blueberry rosemary breakfast pudding, sausage stuffed honey buns, and blueberry barbecue chicken. And lastly, coming in at 13 is The Taste of the State, South Carolina's signature food, recipes, and their stories. I love how you can tell a story. Food is so connected to our memories. I say this all the time in my videos. That is where the term comfort food comes from, because we ate it as a kid. It transports us back to our childhood, which gives us comfort. That's pretty much my definition anyway. I do not personally know one of the authors, David Shields, but I am friends with him on Facebook, and I love to read his posts that he puts on Facebook. He puts a lot of the history about dishes from my native state of South Carolina. Anytime I can learn anything about my state or surrounding states, I just love that. He has such an extensive knowledge base about food and culture and how they're both connected together. So if you're interested in learning about Southern food, especially Southern food from the state of South Carolina, this is a great book for you to pick up. This book will have a lot of older, often forgotten recipes in it. So a few of my recipes from this is chicken bog, like we mentioned in Rodney's book, but it's also called purloo or purlo, shrimp and grits, and frog more stew. And by the way, I have recipes on both of those, and I'll try to leave a link down below. I hope you enjoyed this comprehensive list of Southern cookbooks. I think you will enjoy each one of them. So if you have any suggestions or any comments, make sure you leave us one down below. Hit that little subscribe button, it'll pop up below, and also there will be 2 videos that'll pop up right here. Make sure you check one of those out. And remember, let's get food junk.